Hola from the west side. It is me, DC the Purple Diva, and welcome to Not So Random Chat. Happy Sunday, y'all. And it's been an interesting Sunday. I'll say that. But before I get into my own commentary and whatnot, let me just do my administrative stuff and share my chat out. Let me drink some water too at the same time. So let me share this chat out. Come on in to chill and chat. All right. So I got that out there, y'all. So, I generally keep my stuff to a chill level generally for my live streams because, I just think that's just the best thing to do in these YouTube streets. But I was in a live stream earlier that really got kind of animated, so to speak. That's the best way to put it, politically correct. Because people were just really passionate, and it was all around this controversial to some movie, Cuties. Now, in my personal opinion, I think that it's probably a triggering type of film because it does kind of display stuff that is going on in current society, and probably not from a good perspective. But it is, after all, a movie. And, but for some reason, it always turns into at least in the conversations that I've seen from the clouds and in chats, it turns into a gender war, so to speak. And I don't think that it should really get to that point. I understand everybody's passionate about their point, and I understand personally, why a lot of the men are probably, triggered and just don't want to see this kind of movie, that is a little bit sexually suggesting for with preteen girls. Um, and I know those of us who don't have daughters are thankful that we don't have daughters. Um, but I've got daughters, and I've excuse me, y'all. Let me just drink me a little bit more water. And I've seen, the kind of peer pressure that kids have in today's society, especially our girls. I mean, come on, you'd have to be blind, not to see the provocative pictures that young women put on Instagram, and it is it's a little crazy. And in this movie, it did portray a young woman who had a two-parent household, but the parents were not engaged. They were not paying attention, which was really, really odd to me because, you know, I was not a hands-off parent at all. I'm what you might call, hold on a second. What are you doing? See, he's grown and I'm still like that. I'm what you call a helicopter parent. You know, I am. That's who I am. You know, but hey Matt, yeah, I think Cass fell asleep on us. She's kind of tired, even though she's over here on the west side. She's tired, so I'm gonna let her go because I did come on kind of late. But there was a whole bunch going on. There's so much controversy on this damn movie, Cuties, and it's like splitting between black men and black women when it really shouldn't be this major split. Um, and I'm personally of the mind that um, don't try to convince anybody to watch the movie if they don't want to watch it. If they want to believe the lies that are being told about what is actually in the movie versus what was in the movie, that's fine. It's not even an American movie. It's a foreign film with subtitles. And what I will tell you, because I do watch foreign films, and this is something that was brought up in one of the chats, foreign films attack issues very differently from what we're used to in the United States with the movies that come out that are for us. This movie wasn't even for us. It won awards at the Sundance Film Festival. That should tell you something in and of itself. It's an Archie film that was to put out some things that was spawn conversations, which is exactly what it's done by shedding light on something that maybe some of us don't want to talk about is actually going on. And it's not even about the blame game, you know, because I'm gonna tell you, even though I grew up in a totally different time period. Yeah, they had kids. Well, they were in a dance competition, Matt. That's what they. That's where the dancing was. And I mean, we've seen all the shows that are on cable that are with dance teams and everything, and they're doing the same kind of moves. Um, but the issue I have, eh, with the controversy that has spun from the movie is it's causing this like almost straight divide between black men and black women in regards to what this movie was showing. You know, it. I think that the movie glorified some things that were just way off base, and myself growing up as a dancer, you know, ballet all the way through, and even being within the dance theater team in college. But it was a very different culture because I was doing classical ballet, and, kids today, when they're getting in these dance competitions, they're doing popular dances. And unfortunately, in reality, we do see younger girls imitating things that they see older women do. Is it right? Hell no, it's not. And I think that's the problem that many men who have daughters have with this movie. Is that it is promoting young girls dancing provocatively, and now it's across the world on Netflix. I know it's across the world on Netflix, and I can tell you when I was a tween, which was obviously in a whole different time period in a whole nother century. Um, we tried to copy the dances and stuff, but it was different because they weren't. people weren't dancing this provocatively in the 70s and in the 80s. I don't even think they were dancing this provocatively in the 90s. This is some millennial stuff where they're, I mean, I'm trying to think. Let me see. What was it? The Butterfly, that was probably out in the 90s. So the Butterfly was maybe provocative, but the Butterfly was tame compared to how these young ladies dance today. And I think that the movie was simply shining a light on that. But I don't think it was to glorify it. I think it was to send a message. I think it was to spark a conversation. And it has sparked a conversation, a very heated and passionate conversation, especially in these YouTube streets. Yeah, Diva Dolls. But on Diva Dolls, they don't have the younger girls dancing. They dance according to where they are age-wise, age appropriately. But if we saw, I mean, this movie was in France, okay? And I said this before when I was talking about this particular movie. We have more hangups about sexiness and it being around younger children than Europeans do. They see it way different than we do. However, the main character in this movie is Muslim. So she shouldn't have been doing none of this stuff. And the question we've all had is, where the hell were the parents when these girls were out there doing everything that they were doing? Because none of the girls' parents were, they just, they just let them do whatever the hell they wanted to do. That's the way it looked to me. But yeah, the movie is causing so much controversy in Black YouTube. I mean, I was in one chat, and yeah, okay. So here's my thing. I am a autism channel, okay? And what I mainly talk about is autism. And you guys, I've got a vlog coming up that it's pissing me off doing the research. I'll just say that part. But, I'm like, look, I'm an autism channel. I'm not doing no movie reviews, but I'm definitely going to have my opinion in regards to this stuff in my live stream, because I grew up in a whole nother time period, and I'm a helicopter parent. And the thing that I saw in this movie was it just brought to light some really bad parenting. Because clearly, if the parents were more engaged and more involved, none of these little girls would have been out there. Because, I couldn't get out the door like that. When I was 11 or 12 and I was just starting to develop, if I didn't put a bra on and I didn't have nothing, my father had a conniption fit. Okay? My father had a conniption fit. Like, I know you're not walking out the house without putting on, you better go put a bra on. And I'm like, but Daddy, there's nothing there. I don't care. Put a bra on. That was my dad. Yeah, my dad was hard on me when I got to a teenager. I mean, my mom was, not as hard, but my dad was like, and this girl's dad was off getting him another wife. And this, the way that it portrayed, that's not even realistic, at least as far as I'm concerned, in the Islamic culture. Hey, Neon Eyes. thank you for showing me some support. I appreciate it, sis. You know, and I have a problem with the fact that the little girl tried to offer herself to her cousin so she could keep his cell phone. Like, what the F? So, again, I see the reasons why the movie would be disturbing to watch for someone who is a parent, and especially for men who are parents and who have daughters. I understand that too. I just don't understand why this is making such a split and why there is such a drastic division between how men are seeing this movie that have seen it or that haven't seen it, and how women are seeing it. Hey, Terry. But do I think that the movie is exploitive of young girls? Absolutely. Do I think that they portrayed the young African girl in more of a stereotypical American way? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, because they're getting all these dances and provocative stuff. It's coming from over here. They're copying stuff from over here. We're seeing our own young girls doing this same madness. So I can understand why one of the content creators that was in that chat referred to this as a cutie culture. I do. I don't think it should be generalized, but I do think that there may be a certain segment of the population that subscribes to that. Yeah, you know, that's what I'm saying. You know, Neon Eyes, I think that the movie is triggering for a lot of black men who have daughters, because they would never want to even think of their own daughters at 11 or 12, you know, dancing provocatively, doing, you know, those splits, basically humping and simulating sexual acts on the floor and that kind of stuff. Some of the dancing was kind of stripperish, in my opinion. And keep in mind, keep in mind, y'all, I grew up dancing. I grew up. I'm one of those little black girls that was in ballet classes from the age of 4 or 5. Okay, you know, I didn't suddenly jump into ballet at 12 like Misty Copeland, who is like a freak of nature. You know, but for us black girls, classical dance, they didn't design it for our bodies. And I am not a fat girl. I am a slim girl. But they designed it for for petite slim girls. So you've only had like one woman my height who is black who broke that barrier. My sorority sister, Judith Jameson, who also is a statuesque woman, 5'9". But again, the kind of dancing that these young ladies were doing in there is what they expect us to do. And again, because our African roots, the dancing is with the pelvic region. But when like when women are dancing in the tribal dances, and I'll get back to what I was talking about. When women are dancing in the tribal dances, African tribal dances, because I also learned a lot of African dance when I as a youngster, um, real African dancing, um, and the way that they do the pelvic flex, thing, it's not even a sexual way. It's not the same way. It's not with the gyrating and all of the stuff that goes into this kind of dancing. And absolutely, no 11 or 12-year-old should be doing this. They shouldn't have been dressing the way that they're dressing in this movie. It's it's wrong on all levels. And I think what the problem that many people have with it is that we know that this is going on in society, but we don't need to see it in a movie, because now you're exploiting that same issue. And so so that's why I can kind of see both sides of it. Yeah, the movie was really about a young girl coming of age, but it's some of the things that were tied into that coming of age that are disturbing. You know, like, she started her period. No one had ever told this girl about she didn't know what it was. Imagine that. Now, I might have grown up in a different era, and yeah, maybe my mama didn't talk about everything, but that's something that we talked about. We talked about, the changes in the body. We talked about when I was, as I was developing. We went through all of that stuff. We talked about those things. Now, did she get into the details about sex? No, my mom was not that kind of mama, you know. And my dad, the doctor, was terrified to talk to me about it. As a matter of fact, didn't talk to me about it until I was 18 and on my way off to college. But, by this point, DC has already gotten educated because, yeah, I'm a doctor's daughter, and I had enough sense to talk to my own daggone doctor, because I was able to go into my doctor's appointments without my parents coming in there, whether they wanted to or not. Matt, you know what? See, that's the thing. And see, I think that's the problem that the people who have a problem with this movie, and from what I can see, it's mainly men have with this movie, is that it's glorifying something that we don't want glorified. And it's exploiting more young children. Now, maybe, and I guess that's okay over in France, where maybe the age of consent apparently is younger than it is in the United States. You know, but these little girls still had little girl bodies, and they were trying to put on booty shorts and halter tops, and they barely had boobs, if they had them. And we're doing kind of sexually suggestive moves, like putting her finger in her mouth, on her tongue, and that kind of stuff, as they were dancing. So, again, to me, kind of stripperish type of moves, or something that they would have seen, that could be seen in some porn, which these little girls shouldn't have been, privy to. But they had access to the internet, and they were looking at videos of older girls. And that's what's going on in real life. Younger girls are looking at videos of older girls and they're trying to imitate that that they see. It's very sad, you know, but it's not just something that is going on within Black society. And but I think that people are disturbed because they use the main character was a Black girl. She was of African descent, you know. Her parents were Muslims, you know. So it to me, the way that they did that, it was just crazy and confusing because it was not realistic of what we know to be within Islam. This little girl would have never been able to get away with the stuff she got away with. It's just not realistic. Hey, Six Figure Days, you know, and you know, at the end of the movie, you know, sorry, spoiler, if you're going to go watch it, the young lady, I guess, starts to feel that how she's dancing and everything is not right. It's not acceptable. So she gets it in the end, you know, and maybe people are glossing over that part. And there was so much more going on in this movie besides that dancing. But the dancing, you know, it was about a competition, and they were trying to save this other little girl's family's restaurant with the money. It wasn't even about them becoming big stars doing the dancing. So, you know, it to me, it just seems that people blowing up and coming at each other about a movie and determining what kind of person you are if you choose to watch a movie and what kind of person you are if you choose not to watch the movie is just kind of crazy to me. You know, I don't think that someone is closed minded if they choose not to watch this movie. I think that they have a right to not watch it if they think that it's going to disturb them. Now, I watched it because I wanted to see what why everybody was making such a big deal about it. It didn't trigger anything in me, um, but it was disturbing that this young lady was, you know, these young girls were doing this stuff, and it because it, it just wouldn't have been allowed during the time period that I grew up. And you know, I don't think that it would be allowed in a lot of households, black or white, or pink or purple. I think it was showing an extreme where parents were disengaged. Because I would hope that not all parents or the majority of parents that are raising kids in this generation are letting their kids do whatever they want like that. That would be a scary thought. Yeah, I mean, you know, people when they see the little kids, the little babies, y'all know, the 4 and 5 year olds out there twerking, and they say, "Oh, go ahead, baby," and they just think it's so cute. It's not cute. It's not cute. It ain't even cute when grown women are doing it. To be honest with you, so it's I like I said, I understand both sides of the issue. I really really do. You know, but this movie is a distraction, you guys. It is a distraction. There are bigger issues. Like 45 is trying to shove a just a Supreme Court justice down our throats before the election so that he can try to overturn the election if it doesn't go in his favor. Do you guys not see what this man is doing? Oh, and we have a presidential debate on Tuesday. These are things we should be thinking about. The hell, who the hell cares about a goddamn movie that is clearly exploited? And if you think it's that bad, don't watch it. Boycott the movie. And if you think it's okay, watch it. It's really just that simple. You know, because Netflix has other things on there that are not exploitive, that are actually good. You know, so I'm not throwing it out just for one freaking movie. Yeah, I know. And that's the thing. A lot of people haven't even seen this movie. They're just listening to the rhetoric that's coming out about the movie, the negative rhetoric. And I'm saying I can see both points to it, but some of the negative rhetoric that's coming out in regards to this movie is untrue. It's not even things that were actually in the movie. People are saying things that did not actually happen in the movie. You know, it's fine to have an opinion about it, but don't make stuff up. I understand, Matt. I mean, I understand most men don't want to see it. It's disturbing for me as a woman to see some young ladies dancing that provocatively at that young age. You know, I let my son didn't see it. I didn't let him see it. I watched it. Matter of fact, I watched it on my phone so that nobody else in the house saw it. And I'm glad I did that. You know, because I can understand, you know, how uncomfortable it feels. My guy has daughters, so you don't want to see that. You know, I may not have a daughter, but my brother has a daughter. You know, I have a niece, and I can tell you right now, I will beat her ass. And I don't hardly, y'all probably never hear me, but in this situation, yeah, that word is the correct word. I would, you know, and I already know what her daddy would do. It wouldn't even happen. She wouldn't even, you know, and she's got an older brother. Ain't nobody would even let this girl, my niece, even formulate in her mind to be doing something like this. That's the thing. And that's the thing is that it was the parents. The father, she was in a two-parent household, but the father was off getting him another wife because, you know, in Islam, they can have multiple wives. He was getting him a second wife so he could have more children. And while he was off gallivanting, his daughter was acting out because her father was getting married to someone else. And her mother was not reacting. So she's acting out. She's stealing stuff. She's dressing crazy. All of this stuff is a child acting out. And nobody was reining her in. And I think she desperately wanted to be reined in. Because she was out of control. So it's, you know, it was just kind of crazy. You know, but like I said, the movie's a distraction. You know, we have so much more bigger issues to deal with as a country. You know, we have to deal with the fact that, for all intents and purposes, it appears that our government decided to let this disease just linger out. And that they, you know, and that if life was lost with it, so be it. So be it. So, you know, let's assume that the 200,000 people who died, all of them, rest in peace, were not going to vote for 45. So that means that the 40% of people who did not vote need to vote one way or another, because we don't want this to be no situation where anybody can refute the outcome. I honestly will live with the outcome if majority of people vote and they vote for this fool. I'll have to live with it. But I feel that he will win if people are just nonchalant. So I think that this Tuesday, when that presidential debate comes on, listen to what they're talking about on the issues. Don't listen to the smear campaign that either one of them is going back at the other one on. That's not what we're here for. I don't give a damn about all that stuff. How are you going to run this country? Trump has shown us how he's going to run the country. And if you want more of the same, then that's who you're going to vote for. Hey, underrated. But, you know, he wants a police state. And that's not good for black people. It's not good for black men, especially. And it's really not good for black men with autism, which is what my next video is going to be about. My next vlog that'll be out in the next day or so. I started on it today, and I got pissed off. So I have to be in a calm voice when I do the voiceover and not sound frustrated and pissed off. But I am doing a video on Matthew Russian. And once I do that one, I found another young man who had autism, who was in prison before this one, before Matthew Russian, that was in prison for a long time and got out after many years. I keep trying to tell you guys that our autistic population of black men, and there are more than you think, are in danger when it comes to the police. They are. Because they coerced Matthew Russian. They coerced this man. They read things he said. They didn't disclose that the fact that he had autism. So many of his basic rights were violated in this process. It's just pisses me off. And this young man is younger than my son. And he's considered high functioning autistic. Graduated from college. So yeah, it pisses me off as I did the research into him. And the thing is that his case and everything that happened to him would have been swept under the rug and would have been forgotten about had it not been for George Floyd. If it had not been for George Floyd, we wouldn't even be, many of us wouldn't even know about Matthew Rushing. And this young man was back in the state of Virginia. And I told y'all, I grew up in the DMV, and I did my freshman year in college in Virginia at Hampton. It was Institute when I was there. It's now Hampton University. In Southern Virginia, y'all, keep in mind that the capital of the Confederacy was Richmond. Shall I go further? I am underrated. I'm like, this is so crazy. When I really did the digging into this, you know, and this young man, you know, he's not, you know, in a single parent household. Both of his parents are there. His father went down there and tried to talk to them when the whole thing happened, and they wouldn't even allow him near him. They violated this young man's rights. So they did not take into consideration he had autism. They did not. They didn't care. They did not care. So I'm gonna be doing, you know, that video will be out. Hopefully I'll have it out tomorrow. At the latest, it'll be out on Tuesday. But yeah, this young man has been done a huge injustice because he's Black and autistic. Straight up. Because he's Black and autistic. Oh, the governor of Virginia and his wife have tested positive for corona? Huh. Yeah. Yep. Telling you. You know, when I mean, y'all, cause you know, I had to do some digging because this whole situation with him, he was sentenced last year, but the actual accident, I believe, happened in, I want to say 2016 or 2017. And he was held without bond until his sentencing. So yeah, it's gonna you know, there's been a couple of people who have spoken about it. Shouts out to Dama Wilson, who is a big YouTuber. She's got over 1 million. And she is an autism mom, and she has, tried to bring this to the forefront, and she has asked other autism moms to do this. So that's why I'm doing it as well, especially because I'm the mom of an adult, and this happened to an adult, who he still lived at home. He was at home with his parents. He had a girlfriend. Y'all, I'll give y'all the full information about it. I don't want, because it's making me upset right now. It is, because I've got pictures, and I have pictures of him, and one of the pictures I have of him is of him, in prison. So, Virginia prisons ain't that nice. Okay, it's the South. It's the South. But when I tell you guys what happened and how this young man was treated, and how he was denied medical services, and how he was browbeat, how they, didn't take into consideration he had autism, how they didn't do a psychiatric evaluation, all of that, my fears. That's every autism parent's biggest fear. Get that out of your mouth. What are you doing? Sorry, y'all. Mom. It's for their child to be on the side of the road and to be arrested, and to be denied their rights, to not have an advocate because they're an adult, and because their autism is not being taken into consideration, because you can't see autism. Let me write it down. I'm writing it down. Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. I'll email you, underrated. I'll email you. I know this. The other young man that I'm going to talk about, I've got to do research on, was sitting at a bus stop, and someone called the police on him, said he looked suspicious, and he ended up in jail for years. I think his name is Nathan. I don't want to missay it, but yeah, also on the spectrum. I'm telling you that the problem is that many of our kids are high functioning, and so they are able to, to get out there in society. They're not, they don't, they can go places on their own. So, and, autism doesn't have a look. Kids they look normal for their age. Nothing's, you can't see anything out of the ordinary. It's only like if you talk to them, perhaps, that you might be able to tell. And based on the things that this young man said, I don't understand how these officers didn't know. But again, it's because police are not trained to deal with people on the autism spectrum. They're not trained to deal with it. They don't even know what they're looking for. And that's a problem. You know, some laws have to change. Some laws have to change. Um, I tried to post it on my community tab, but there is a change.org out for Matthew Russian, and they're trying to get 50,000 signatures to have his whole case relooked at and to get him out of jail. And so if you guys, if I can find it, I will post it on my community tab. But it wouldn't allow me to post it. It wouldn't allow me to post it. So I'll figure out how to post it on there. But I will at least post the information and as to what the link is so that you guys can go find it. But I would really appreciate it if you guys, look at that change.org and sign it for Matthew Russian to free him. Hey, Tutu Thing Thing. Yeah, Terry, we waiting for you to do a live stream, bro. We are excited for it to happen. Oh, I did want to give you guys an update. So you guys know I'm apartment hunting, or rather not apartment, house hunting to rent. So I did go see a place this weekend. I think I like it. It's huge. It's not a house, it's a townhouse, but it had some patios and stuff, and then it's right across the street from a park, so that it would be some place that David could go. And the way that it's designed, I would have a cool area to do my YouTube in. I would also have a cool area, a good area for my office, because y'all know I work from home. And there's enough room so that my son would have his own privacy as well, and we would not be all over each other with all of us in the house. So I'm putting in an application for it. We'll see what happens with that. It's not going to be available until the end of October, which is perfect, because if I get it, I can get my 30 days notice. It's not far from where I am, but I won't be in such close proximity to SoFi. I know for some of y'all that might be great, but for me, no, it's not. It's cool because I'm close to my church, but no, I don't really want to be by the football stadium. It's gonna be a lot more foot traffic in this area. Plus, I think that the people that own the place that I live in really want to sell it or go way up on the rent. And they can't go way up on the rent on me. So I think it's just time for us to go. Because within the next 2 years, I plan on buying anyway, y'all. Point blank. Let's see what you guys are saying. Y'all have to force Biden what? He's a pro-police Democrat. Yeah, he is a pro-police Democrat. But you wouldn't think that if you listen to 45. 45 says he's anti-police. Both of them are pro-police. Both of them are. You know, it's just that Trump is just in your face about it. You know how he feels. Biden, I don't know. Hey, Jack. I love that song, Heartbreak Hotel. That's like one of my favorite songs by the Jacksons. I still remember the Victory Tour. Rest in peace, Michael. Rest in peace. All the good ones are gone, y'all. All the good ones are gone. Let me see what Terry's saying. As long as capitalism depends on our expectation, there will never be any changes to our interests, no matter who's president. Exactly. Exactly. You know, I mean, and here's the thing, you guys. If Biden wasn't pro-police, he wouldn't have chosen Kamala Harris as his running mate. He would have chose one of the other ladies. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know. I'm not happy about him as a choice because of her. I'm not happy about it at all. But I'm not voting for that other person at all. You know. But I see people that I know that are friends of mine in real life that are going to vote for him. You know, there are some black people that are going to vote for Donald Trump, y'all. Just understand that. And it's nothing that those of us who not going to vote for him can say to them. But I it's the people who just are saying they're not going to vote at all. That's the ones I'm talking to. I want you to just vote. I don't want you to just not vote. And please don't vote for some third party person out there. Because if you're going to do that, then you might as well just vote for Donald Trump. I'm just saying. Don't throw your vote away. And don't not vote. You know, we understand that we're still 3/5 of a human to these people. But we know better. We know better. Did y'all see the post I put up last week about ice hockey? Did y'all see that post that I put up on my community tab? About that it was black slaves who ran away to Nova Scotia who invented the sport of ice hockey. Isn't it funny how most of us didn't know that? And most of us thought that, it was white people ice skating. But now we know that the original people who invented the entire sport were black. Puts it into perspective for you, doesn't it? Puts it in perspective. I mean, and the crazy thing is that, they recognize that we don't just excel at sports, even though we do. You know, everything that every sport, you know, because here's a funny thing. The best in American football is someone who is black, and the best in football, soccer, the best person who ever played it, Pele, black. And now that, you know, they now see that we swim. Now you have blacks excelling in swimming. We excel in all of these sports, but then who were those human computers in Hidden Figures? Black women. The problem is that they fear that we're going to figure out our own work. We're going to figure out that we are, you know, that they're not superior to us. You know, they're trying to pour into us that they are, that we need acceptance from them, but it's really not that way. They just need to accept who we are, period. You know, they are not better than us, because anything that they have that appears to be better than us is because they stole it from us. You know, I mean, I've watched, like, you guys, and I know I'm about to get off, but I've been watching like this Ancient Alien things that, you know, talks about all the different things. It's amazing to me that people would rather believe that aliens built the freaking pyramids rather than black people did that. That black people figured out how to do all of that stuff, you know. I mean, it's evident that you don't know because you destroyed everything when you came to Africa. So you destroyed all of those ancient civilization records and everything to make it look like Africans were savages. But, you know, no aliens helped them to build the pyramids. You know, didn't happen. And the funny thing is, you see those kind of statues all over the world. And they all have similar black type of faces. But I digress. I'm just making a point that it's not about them accepting us. It's about us accepting who we are, accepting our greatness. Period, point blank. That's what I'm saying. They burned everything in Egypt. They wiped out stuff. I mean, Hitler shot off the black nose. Couldn't stand it. But the Crusaders went into Africa and destroyed what they did not understand. Do you know how much further mankind would be now if all of that had not been destroyed, but had been embraced? All right, I'm going to come on because I'm about to get off. Y'all know, DC is a radical. I am. Y'all have no idea. When I was in college, I was one of those ones who slept in the library at USC to get the university to get out of apartheid South Africa when there was still apartheid there. There's my son. See? Looking at him. You just see a black young man. You can't see autism. And that's the point that I am making. That's why our kids are in danger when they have autism. My black young men who have autism are in danger. You know, whether we like it or not, although I call it a different ability, it's a neurodiversity, they see it as a disability. They see it as a disadvantage. Anyway, you guys, I'm gonna get on out of here. I think I said enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I said enough for the night. I will be back on tomorrow. Whew, nose is itching, y'all. But until then, I offer you guys a peace and blessings from the West Side. And if you have not already watched it, please go watch my Blue Crab ASMR. The sound's a little crappy, but it's my first one. You guys can watch me eat crabs for 13 minutes. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace. I'm out.